Prime Minister Starmer claimed repeatedly that his government believes in free speech and was not engaged in censorship. But his country's government arrests people for memes and thought crimes, and even more worrisome is pressuring American companies to censor Americans on it.
My personal mission to smash the people smuggling gangs. Only way to stop that is to smash the gangs. We have to smash those gangs.
Almost 4 years ago, you were talking about the need to reduce immigration.
Yes, I was.
You said, I think, now you're talking about free movement. I mean, it doesn't seem that you've learned any lesson from this at all.
You keep putting this to me, and I keep saying...
That's my point.
I know, but you're not listening to what I'm saying, because I have... One of the ways I operate, and have done now since 2015 when I came into Parliament, is to go to the very communities where I need to listen, and listen. And that's what I've been doing.
Prime Minister Keir Starmer's most recent interview was intended to be a meticulously orchestrated opportunity for him to solidify his leadership, reaffirm his government's policies, and reassure the British public amid mounting concerns over key decisions. However, instead of reinforcing confidence in his abilities, the interview unravelled into a politically damaging spectacle that laid bare his vulnerabilities, casting serious doubt on his capacity to handle pressure, scrutiny, and criticism effectively. The setting itself was nothing out of the ordinary, a standard press conference meant to provide controlled messaging. Yet, from the moment Starmer stepped into the room, an unmistakable tension filled the air. While he initially carried himself with his usual composed demeanour, offering well-rehearsed remarks on economic stability, national security, and civil liberties, there was an evident sense of scepticism in the audience. Some members exchanged wary glances, arms were crossed in subtle defiance, and murmurs of doubt circulated before the questioning had even begun. For the first few minutes, Starmer managed to maintain control. The opening questions were relatively predictable, allowing him to respond with the kind of polished political rhetoric that experienced leaders often rely upon. However, the carefully controlled atmosphere soon began to crumble when the interview shifted to some of the most contentious issues confronting his administration. Another pivotal moment arrived when he was confronted about the state of the economy, a topic that has been a significant concern for both businesses and households. The journalist posed a straightforward yet devastating question. Prime Minister, businesses are struggling, families are facing an ever-growing financial squeeze, and many argue that your policies are exacerbating the crisis. Can you point to a single, concrete way in which your government has tangibly improved the financial well-being of the average British citizen? This question presented Starmer with a crucial opportunity to defend his administration's economic track record convincingly. However, rather than delivering a strong, reassuring response, he launched into a long-winded and meandering explanation about long-term economic stability, difficult decisions, and necessary sacrifices. His attempt to project competence and foresight backfired spectacularly. As he spoke, the cameras panned to the audience, capturing their reactions. The expressions of frustration, disbelief, and outright exasperation were undeniable. One attendee shook their head in dismay, another let out an audible sigh, and then came what might have been the most damning moment of all. A hushed yet clearly audible remark was caught on a microphone. "You're making it worse." The comment, though subtle, encapsulated the sentiment in the room. Instead of reassuring the public, Starmer was losing them. If there was any hope of salvaging the situation, the next segment of the interview eliminated it entirely. When asked about concerns regarding free speech, particularly in relation to the controversial Online Safety Act, he attempted to present himself as a staunch defender of open discourse. The UK has a long and proud tradition of protecting free speech, he declared, striving to sound firm and authoritative. Yet the audience was unconvinced. Critics have long argued that his government's legislation imposes excessive restrictions on online expression, pressuring tech companies to censor content and effectively curbing dissenting voices. The interviewer wasted no time in pointing out the contradictions. "Prime Minister, if free speech is truly valued under your leadership, Why are major tech firms and civil rights organizations warning that your policies are leading to increased censorship? At that moment, Starmer's confidence visibly faltered. A brief hesitation. A flicker of doubt in his expression. His usual controlled manner crumbled as he attempted to pivot the discussion toward the importance of balancing responsible speech with public safety. But by then, the damage had already been done. His reluctance to provide a direct and unequivocal answer only solidified fears that his government was actively restricting free expression. Even typically favorable media sources struggled to put a positive spin on the disastrous performance. Political analysts debated whether this moment would mark the beginning of a significant decline in public confidence. The pressing question now is whether Keir Starmer can recover from this political disaster. His credibility has been dealt a serious blow, and public trust in his leadership appears to be steadily eroding. In the ruthless arena of politics, trust is hard-earned and easily lost. One thing is certain. Keir Starmer has just suffered one of the most humiliating political interviews of his career, and the consequences may haunt him for a long time to come. 5:49